So it's possible to play every note on clarinet without using this key, maybe B flat. But in terms of response, this register key is really only there for pitch. For example, I'm going to finger C, but I'm going to have 4 notes respond. I'm not going to touch this key at all. How is that possible? Well, the way the instrument works is that you basically play overtones. When you play any fundamental note like C, you're actually playing upper notes there, but you just have to find the right voicing position for them to respond. Again, voicing position is how you shape your tongue and throat to have notes come out. I should also mention in this video that, clarinet is not a brass instrument. It's not an instrument in which, as you go higher, you have to blow harder or you have to increase any pressure at all. For example, this is probably, well, this isn't possible for most instruments, right? I'm going to play high G, but as soft as I can. Let me do it again. I don't even know if the microphone can pick that up. What I'm saying is don't conflate other instruments with clarinet. Just because notes are higher doesn't mean you need to add any extra pressure. The reason why that works is because all you're doing is finding the right voicing position for those notes. And once you're there, you can blow any amount of air really and have the note respond well. Okay, so how do you learn how to find each voicing position for each specific note? Here's the exercise. You're going to play high C, thumb C, right? You play C, and then you take your thumb off the register key and still have it play C. So it's like this. Try it again. If you notice, the only thing that changes is the pitch, right? But I'm still able to maintain C even though I'm playing F. Most people can do this. If you can't and it plays F, what you have to do is really focus on U, like a high tongue position when you're playing C, and then really do your best to try to get there. Sometimes, when you learn this exercise, you really kind of have to think like a scientist, as in you try something, and if it works, do it again, right? Like see if you've gone down a path of knowledge rather than just repeating things mindlessly. Now, to expand this exercise, you're going to play C, take your thumb off, and then slowly go down the chromatic scale to see how far you can get. The longer you go, this is a tube, right? If you go down towards the end of the tube, the resistance obviously becomes much more difficult to manage. So let me show you. Again, that's with no register key at all. So it is possible to play, for example, long B without using this key at all. So once you have that, most people it'll stop. You'll have a lack of response sort of around D. That's generally the range at which people start to have trouble. If you start to have trouble higher, obviously the lower notes won't respond. So like if you have trouble with G, F probably won't work. E won't work. So the expansion on this exercise is really learning how to do attacks properly. For example, if you can do C without the register key, that's great. That's great for C. But what about like G or F or E or D, like lower notes where you still want to have a good clean attack? So the exercise is this. So you play C, take your thumb off C, go down chromatically to say G, take a breath, and then play G. Again, without engaging this again at all. So. Does that make sense? Try it again. If you can do that, then you can play G no matter what happens, right? Like you know exactly where G is. This is possible all the way down the bottom of the horn, okay? I'm going to show you this. Some people don't believe it's possible, but I'm going to play low E, and I'm not going to touch this key at all, right? I'm just going to change my voicing position to get it to respond B. If you can do that, which is the hardest note to get response for, you can play anything, right? Like you should have a great sound and you should have really good legato. For those of you who don't know, there are 3 main registers on clarinet, right? The first register where you really don't use this key other than B flat. The second register where you keep this register key down, And then as you go into the Altissimo, this finger acts as a second register key. So as soon as you go to C sharp, really C sharp is like low A, right? I mean, if you look at the fingerings for the Altissimo, if you play from low A all the way to E, you get the Altissimo, except just this finger's up and you have the register key down, right? So how do you practice the Altissimo using this exercise? The answer is, now you have two register keys. So you're going to play C sharp, you're going to close the first register key, then you're going to close the second register key, and then still have it play C sharp. And just like the first exercise, now you can go up, right? So if you have trouble having response for the upper notes, you can kind of learn the right position here. So if I'm going to go all the way to G. So I mean, it's a great exercise just to learn control for those notes. And similarly, you can do the same attack exercise for the upper notes. The last thing I should mention in this video is, maybe you have the second register down, third register is coming, but how do you transition, right? That transition is a very, very hard thing to negotiate. So this is the exercise. You start C, play C, then you finger low A, but it's going to speak C sharp. That's actually quite difficult to do because you're fighting the natural tendency of the instrument to want to drop out. This is a great exercise, for example, to negotiate the hardest intervals on clarinet, which are kind of like D to B flat or D to A. What you can do is if you can overblow D, like it's low B flat, and then finger to A without any help, right? I mean, it sounds like an ambulance, but practice this exercise. This should be a major staple in your routine. If it's not, you're really never going to gain total control over the instrument.